great night for the Giants, but what was the number one takeaway you had, Teddy?
Okay, the Philadelphia Eagles. You got great players, but great players can even take the night off, and that's what they did against the New York Giants. Basically, I know what it looks like when you get punked, okay? And the Eagles got punked. They got punked by the New York Giants, and it was led by 2 rookies, which was the most amazing thing to me, to see these young kids against the world champions and these great players on defense saying, we don't care who you are. Jaxson Dart on 3rd down is diving headfirst for the pylon on Jihad Campbell. Reed Blankenship doesn't want it at the goal line. Skattebo says, here, take this ball too while you're with you. You don't want this. You don't want this, do you? We're high-fiving officials. Fellas, we're high-fiving officials, led by 2 rookies against one of the best teams in the league. They said, no, that's it. That's it. I know what it's like to get punked. And that was a punking last night. That was a punking on Thursday night by the Giants to the world champion Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know what I saw? I mean, I hate to say that, you know, what a surprise, right again, but I'm right again. This move energized the entire organization and fan base, by the way. Why? Because these 2 can ball. They compete their tails off. That's what it's all about. And what happened? It energized your entire football team. That's what I saw. I saw a team that right now is like, hey, we don't care who the hell we play. We got these guys. They're competitive. And you know what? They can handle it. I call for that Skattebo forever.
Yes.
Why? Because he runs so dang hard, and then the quarterback thinks he's the next thing of Josh Allen. Like, this is the great move by Brian Daboll. I have no idea why the hell it didn't happen week 1, where it should have, and maybe this team's record be different. But right now, it's happened, and this fan base, this is the first time I've seen a New York Giant fan base this excited for 20 years.
When's the last time the Giants were this excited? Super Bowl win? Like, these 2 guys have brought that energy, that juice, that stat. The youngest quarterback ever to beat a Super Bowl champion. How about the fact that there's only 2 or 3 quarterbacks who have run for 50 yards in their first 3 starts against the team? Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Jaxson Dart. And just like last year, Washington had a rookie quarterback come on the scene and change the fortunes of the franchise. I know it's early, but the Giants look like they have a quarterback and a running back who can do the same, which changes the tone and the look of that division this season.
Well, can we just say, let's address the elephant in the room. Alex Smith, we know why you're not here. You don't want this heat, Alex Smith. I told you, Alex, this is what happens. You mentioned the kid from Washington. You know, Jane Daniels last year, what he did, elevated that thing. Yeah, look, I've been part of 2 dang rookies that went to championship games. So stop it.
And even a little bit more. I mean, watching Jaxson on 3rd down make some throws, not just do the tough guy stuff, because the tough guy stuff is great.
Ain't gonna last.
If Alex were here, he'd be talking about some of the throws Jaxson Dart made from the pocket, which were very impressive.
So look, the Giants side of it is phenomenal. And to the point that Shefty and everyone is making, this is the most enthusiastic you've seen their fan base and their franchise in what feels like a very long time. On the other side, I host a daily show here, right? I host Get Up every morning. So we're talking about the Eagles. And while they were still unbeaten, you could see the problems. But while they were still unbeaten, I felt silly asking what's wrong with them because they kept winning. Well, all of a sudden, now they've dropped 2 games in a row. And this one was really a beatdown against the Giants. So if I were to say, do we have real trouble for the Philadelphia Eagles right now, like real concerns about the defending Super Bowl champs? What's the answer?
Yes, there's real concern. For me, defending Super Bowl champs, and you're sitting out here making just like very small mistakes that you expect guys making this amount of money to not make. And I got 2 plays for you. And, you know, everybody's sitting up here talking about Jalen Hurts and his inability to not make this play. You guys see that red line right there? That's the red line on all practice fields in the National Football League. And that is the line for the go balls for us as a wide receiver to stay on. Right here, you see Devontae Smith on the numbers, getting jammed inside the numbers. So where does Jalen Hurts want to throw the ball? Right to the red line. So, ladies and gentlemen, is that Jalen Hurts or a wide receiver problem? Here, again, we're about to go upfield. Double move, A.J. Brown. Then you do another move at the safety. The ball has already been ready to throw down the field. So you're second guessing the quarterback. So you have Devontae Smith. One of them plays was 2 weeks ago, and the other play was last week.
Right.
Big plays in the game to prevail the Philadelphia Eagles to a victory. The one thing about it, Brew, I want to go back. You talked about the physicality of the game. Yeah. There's a play you left out, and I hope we can find it. There's a play in the second half where Skattebo was running. Braun was running to the sideline, and when I tell you that Skattebo right here, where Dart left Braun right here, that's first team All-Pro, Teddy. The guy that you were sitting there hollering about, first team All-Pro. I want you to look at this sideline hit by Skattebo and look where he takes Zach Braun, lifted him off his feet, out of bounds. You're talking about the physicality of the football game. There was a reason why Daboll had to apologize. If I was the head coach, the way the game was going, this man was out here fighting for his job. So, to me, looking at the game, I'm excited for the New York Giants, but if you understand what Daboll is fighting for, his job is on the line. So them going in that blue tent and wanting to see what's wrong with his quarterback, I know why he did it, but everything – the signs pointing up for the New York Giants. I like what I see, and the rookies are leading the way.
Listen, the only thing I want to say about Philadelphia right here, that there is like hangover effect, Super Bowl effect is real. That's why it's so hard to repeat. But they're saying you can't just go out and lay your jock out there thinking you're the mighty Eagles. Guess what? Nobody gives a rat's.
No, they don't.
Brand new year. And the thing that I see is you talk about those things. Attention to detail is missing.
The little things.
In this. And I see sometimes the confidence. Is it the confidence in play calling? What it is. I see Jalen Hurts not quite as confident as he normally is because I just think he should sit in that pocket a little more. Is he not quite as confident in his protection? What it is. But that red line throw, you got to get back out there.
You know that, Rex.
I mean, that ball was like, he still threw it good. He should hit that 95% of the time. He really should. You're not going to get more open than that.
Right.
The point is that when we were all sitting here a week ago, today, they were still 4-0. They've lost twice since we had that conversation, and that brings up all the questions. Joe Flacco will make his first start for the Bengals today in Green Bay, becoming the third quarterback since the merger to start for 3 different teams in the same division in his career. Ryan Fitzpatrick did it in the AFC East. Neil O'Donnell did it in the old AFC Central. Meanwhile, Jake Browning started the last 3 games for Cincinnati. He this week had to talk about this change.
I think it sucks, but like I said, everyone's in the middle. Everyone's in the middle of the season, and welcome to pro football. If you don't play well, you're gonna get replaced. That's what I'm going through. I'm trying to respond the right way. Obviously, I'm pissed, and if I wasn't pissed, then I shouldn't be in this locker room.
You can't help but notice that his life in the National Football League. Here's a guy who just lost his job, and the man he lost it to, he's basically standing in front of his locker as he's forced to have this conversation. That's the reality of the situation. By the way, Jake Browning second in the league in interceptions thrown this year. Joe Flacco was third behind him. But Rex, you were passionate on what the Bengals must do with Flacco to have a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's heavy up the protection and work those great receivers one-on-one on the outside. All right, I don't care what coverage they play. You got 2 great wideouts, but heavy up the protection. Joe Flacco is a statue back there.
Right.
All right? Don't run your typical offense where you're going 5 guys out in the route. If you do that, you got no chance. You got 0 chance. So come on now. Look, Jake Browning, I love it because he thinks it stinks and all that. Do you see yourself play? I told you I had no chance when that kid was in there. He's slinging it all over the dang place. Well, Joe Flacco will do the exact same thing unless you change your offense. Protection first. Protection first. All right? Yeah, I know you got your stud quarterback hurt already. Let's not get this old guy hurt too. Heavy up the protection, work those outside receivers.
I just talked to you guys about that young rookie energy that old vets get. I mean, I'm sitting there and we bring in Joe Flacco and I'm like, man, are we this desperate? Really, that's what I'm thinking here.
Because they have to do something?
Joe Flacco was the worst fourth-quarter quarterback in the National Football League. I mean, just the worst, the way he played in the most critical juncture of the game. I mean, you mentioned Jake Browning throwing his picks, but then Joe Flacco also threw his. So are we really getting better with this? And you're watching him just thinking, all right, what's the old man going to do? What happens when the old man gets sacked? I mean, this is not a boost. I mean, until I see a bomb to Chase or Higgins, whoever it may be. But it's like I'm thinking they're like, man, we are desperate in the Cincinnati Bengals locker room.
The crazy thing about this is you guys mentioned, you're talking about Browning was second in interceptions.
Correct.
But then you bring in the guy
who's third.
That's third in interceptions. So there's something that has to be positive about it is for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And, I was thinking about this, like, what would I be thinking? As a wide receiver, the one thing that Joe Flacco is going to bring to this offense is what defense hasn't he seen. I said this earlier about a guy like Aaron Rodgers. So his pre-snap reads of understanding where to go with the ball, because I guarantee you this, when Joe Burrow's in the game, pre-snap reads for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, they know that Joe is throwing the ball to him. So I just want to see what type of offense that Joe Flacco is going to run, but at the same time, can he keep these wide receivers tuned into the game? And real quick, in 3 games, T. Higgins, 7 catches, 69 yards.
Do you know how much money they had invested in their wide receivers? And that's why they couldn't go out and go get a Kirk Cousins or a Russell Wilson, because money was a factor. They had to go get some sort of bargain quarterback, and they had to do something, and they had to shake it up. No, they checked in on Sam Howell and Tyler Huntley and Drew Lock. They checked in on quarterbacks across the league. Ultimately, they felt, and we'll see if they're right, that Joe Flacco was the one that could bring a spark to their offense, that would fit into their offense, that would keep these receivers who are being paid a lot of money happy.
I hate to think fit in their offense. You can't change your offense based on your personnel.
I hope they listen to you, Rex, in terms of that protection thing, because they are playing the Green Bay Packers.
The running back.
I mean, you know who's over there.
Absolutely.
I mean, if they don't shore it up.
You're going to get this dude destroyed.
Guess what? He ain't going to make it through the game
unless you change your damn offense.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to duck. Joe Flacco did just beat the Packers a couple of weeks ago. I know he didn't have a lot to do with it, perhaps. The Browns defense won that game, but Flacco did beat this team just a few weeks ago. Does that mean nothing? You're just staring at me like that.
Nothing.
No. Myles Garrett ain't playing for Cincinnati.
Listen, that's why I said I was going to duck when I said it, because I knew it was a ridiculous point to make, but that's what I do here.